In the video I posted yesterday, which nobody watched, but that's okay, I talked about how the main thing to focus on isn't, or let me put it this way. We spend a lot of time thinking about how we are being propagandized, but there's less time spent on how we are propagandized and how ubiquitous the propaganda is. You practically can't avoid it if you, quote, live in a society, unquote, if you live in our society. Because it's that ubiquitous. It's everywhere. You could avoid it if you were like living among the Amish, where they don't have radio, they don't have television, they don't have internet, and they're just just in their own world, and they've got their own society that's an entirely separate thing. I mean, they are off grid completely, and other subgroups like that, but otherwise you are susceptible because this stuff just it's everywhere. It gets in everything. It's like Anakin talking about why he doesn't like sand, because it's rough and coarse and it gets everywhere. It's the same way with propaganda. What got me to thinking about this is I was reminiscing about 2020 and 2021, and in 2021 I wrote I rode on I shouldn't say I rode. I flew on a plane twice. Once in February of 2021 and once in October of 2021. And the mask ban or the mask mandate for all airports and all airplanes stayed in effect, I think, until incredibly late, until maybe sometime in 2022, until was when they finally repealed that. So on these occasions, I knew, I mean, y'all know me. Maybe you do, or maybe you don't. But if you don't know me, I was totally anti-mask mandates, totally anti-lockdown, totally anti-vax mandates, just opposed to everything that was being promulgated during that period that I call the scamdemic. But I wasn't gonna be strident about it while I was in the airport or on the airplane. What I planned to do was just to keep my head down, keep my mask on, and just get through it. Because I just needed to get where I needed to go, and then once I was there, I could take that stupid thing off and live normally again. I think that the videos from that time still, they're still in existence on that channel. I talked about how you can get around the mask mandate by purchasing a drink and then just nursing it. Just sitting in there, just taking as long as possible to finish with your drink. And that, you can do little things like that. But I wasn't, I wasn't going to get in people's faces. Again, my whole thing was just to get there and get it over with. I wasn't going to be activistic. I wasn't going to be strident. That was my mindset going into the whole thing. But what amazed me, well, it didn't amaze me. It didn't even shock me. But what struck me was how these airline stewardesses became just like these like Nurse Ratched castrating, emasculating types. Like, excuse me, sir, you need to pull that mask over your nostril. You've got one nostril exposed. You need to pull it over your nostril. And, they would say that, not to me, because I had mine on the way I was supposed to have it on. But they said it to some guy, I think, Hispanic guy, who wasn't trying to be, disobedient or anything. But they were all over his case, and they were yelling at him, and just being all meh about it. And it was right around the same time period that there was story after story in the news about, there's all these unruly airline passengers now. Oh, this, it's such a, we've got this epidemic of airline passengers who won't behave. And, it was probably because these bitches were being this way to them, and they didn't feel like taking it. It was probably because somebody just, innocently didn't have his mask on exactly right, and then got a talking down to, like he was in, second fucking grade or something, and, just didn't feel like putting up with that shit. That was probably what happened. But the way they framed it was, these poor, airline workers are just doing their jobs, and all these unruly passengers are just making life a living hell for them. What is wrong with these people? What is wrong with us? It was that kind of thing. It was this scolding tone, and there were so many articles like that about, civility is breaking down, and they all focused on airline passengers. Now, a caveat: I wasn't there for every single one of these incidents. I don't know what the truth was, and it could be that in some cases the air hostesses were being, fairly nice, but just saying, "Excuse me, sir, you just if you could just put your mask over your nose, thank you." But they were over. But the passenger was just irascible, and it's possible. It's possible. I'm telling you from what I saw, what I experienced. The way it was the exact opposite. Okay, and there were no incidences. There was no arguments, because the people that they yelled at, just didn't put up a fight. They just corrected themselves for their egregious errors of exposing a nostril or whatever the hell it was. But it seems obvious at the time that, this is what they can do through propaganda. They can take something where the situation is one way, where it's we've got this epidemic. If the truth is, we've got this epidemic of rude, condescending Nurse Ratched types, yelling at grown men and women on airplanes, getting on their cases, making an issue, trying to, publicly humiliate them over these stupid mask rules surrounding masks covering every possible, access to air that you have in your system. They probably, what if you? I wonder if anybody, if you had a stoma or something, if they would get on your case if you exposed your stoma to the air. I don't know, but they could just take that and turn it around and say, there's airline workers are dealing with, unruly passengers who are and this is just a breakdown in civility. What's wrong with people? What's wrong with Americans? Why is this happening now? You know, finger wag in your face kind of tone. These editorials that kept turning up in in newspapers and such. And like this is what they can do. They can take a situation and totally flip it and make the bad guys the good guys, and vice versa. So that's just an example of what I'm talking about.